Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me know if you can, because things are all hairy tonight. Yeah, I've been crazy, So anyway, Kat's not here tonight. It's just it's just me. And then, it's basically, I'll tell you that story in a minute. But welcome to, I guess, one Chicken Radio. And it's just me, Rhea, and 2 RJ. So let's see here. The comments will go out as Cat, unfortunately, but let's see here. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so anyway, good evening here in Radioland. And I'm here in the shack. I'm not in the kitchen. I'm here in the shack because the shack's the place to be. All right. Hey, Lauren. Nice to see you. Hi, Ron. There's no cat tonight, except this cat right here. Ow. Who's like by my foot. Okay. And he's an old guy. He's a senior citizen. Senior kitty. Okay. So anyway. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about a few things. I put the cannabis one because it's pertinent to New Jersey. They don't call it marijuana here anymore. They said marijuana is has bad connotations. I kind of get it. It's probably a little, I don't know, whatever. But, and the state of New Jersey really screwed this up because they could have made it legal on April 20th, right? 4/20. But no, they made it that the first sales go live on 4/21, which is today. What the hell? I don't buy that logic at all. But, it's kind of like, gee, I don't know. Well, it is what it is. I don't smoke, okay? I do believe in the right for you to smoke, okay? If you want to smoke, right? I don't even smoke cigarettes, officer, okay? Those who listen to dance hall reggae in Jamaica would know that reference. All right, let's start with the news, first of all. But first, let me tell you where Kat is. So Kat told me, the last thing I heard from Kat was, let's go, Brandon. So I assume she eloped with some guy named Brandon, and I heard Tahiti. So, after tax season, she eloped with some guy named Brandon because she said, let's go, Brandon. And, she's like, no, I'm just kidding. She needed a mental health break after tax season. She does taxes and stuff. I did my taxes, and, the government took some of my money. And you see a video on my channel where I was talking about the new FCC fees. We're going to talk about that too. And they probably don't want to do pandemonium. No, I don't do any sort of cannabis. I'm sorry. The only drugs I take are those that are prescribed to me. And those are kind of getting less and less because I really just don't, I'm actually, believe it or not, my health is getting better since I removed the stress of working for Rupert Murdoch. So, yeah. Ron, yeah, I wanted to. I just procrastinated. I don't know why. I just procrastinated. My $35 on quitting ham radio. You want to know something? Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Some people say, well, $35 is a small amount. Look, in Trinidad, we had amateur radio fees that were initially pretty cheap. So my first license initially cost $14.40, and then the renewal was $9.60. And I was a teenager. So at that time, it wasn't a lot of money for me, right? And I basically you know, I did that. Later on, after I left the country, they raised that fee to $100 per year. By the way, this is Trinidad and Tobago dollars, okay? And the exchange rate is about 7 to 1. So 7 of their dollars is 1 American dollar. So, you know, 7, about, let's say $15, you know, $15, $16 was about the cost, is about the cost per year. And then before that, you know, it was pretty cheap, like pennies. So, you know, it's I can see what the effect, and the people are saying, well, you know, yeah, I'll just pay that instead of paying TTARs, yet Trinidad and Tobago Amateur Radio Society, yet everybody wants to get on the repeaters, okay? But they don't want to pay the membership to use the TTARs. I don't know. That's weird. Right. So behind me here, you see my equipment stack. You see my Tuner Genius. You see my Flex. You see my Power Genius, which is back in a shack. And I have Smart SDR running in the background. And what happened here? And I lost everybody. Okay. Yeah, my monitor, my MacBook. I'm still frustrated. I'm considering canceling because Micro Center has them in stock. I'm considering Dave, yeah, you want to know something? You do have fees and you do pay annually to RAC and ARL. But you want to know something? It's like, I don't know. The main part for me is that it's something that was there, that is there now, that wasn't there before, and we're not getting any additional benefit, especially since the FCC has basically sat on all amateur radio petitions for almost 9 years. Okay, there are a bunch of rulemaking proceedings, some of them which I would love to see happen, like, for example, this stupid rule about amplifiers, right? Where in America, they basically they hobble the amplifiers, where it's saying that they must have less than 15 decibels of gain. Okay, and it's like, well, that rule is really intended to prevent the proliferation of CB amplifiers. But you want to know something? That doesn't stop Dave Maid and Stryker and all of these people. No, it doesn't. I think Stryker is an amplifier brand name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Probably microphone. But it doesn't protect against the proliferation of CB amplifiers. Okay, all it does is it makes companies like 403A, SkySat, Flex Radio, SPE, and the others. All it does is makes them put in a stupid attenuator in front so that they could satisfy this legal requirement. It's nonsense. And the FCC has been sitting on that petition for years. Okay? I want to see that struck down. To me, that is more important than some of the others. But, I wish they would just get up and do something about it. It's ridiculous, I mean, there's other things going on like 5G and some, but come on, throw us a bone, Ron, as I mentioned in my video, the GMRS license is actually a hell of a deal, right? If you look at all the people it covers you, your spouse, your kids, your grandparents, your parents, your grandchildren, your uncles, your auntie, your in-laws, everybody. So a whole 3 busloads of you, okay, could go down and drive into, and go hiking, and you carry this mythical case of Baofangs, right? The GMRS Baofangs, okay? And you carry them into the woods under 1 license. Isn't that crazy? So, yeah, that's funny, all right? But, I've had my GMRS license since last year because, in all honesty, I was interested. I was doing drone work, and then I kind of did a partnership with Redivis, and Redivis, that GMRS video actually did pretty well, and I'm hoping I could do a video more. All right, so let's see. So ARRL doesn't seem to have a lot of news lately. I could tell you why, but I won't. But I'll tell you some of the other news. So Dayton Hamvention's coming up, guys. And, I am getting ready for Dayton Hamvention. I'm going there with the league. I'm going to be at a few places. If you are a donor to ARRL, I believe over a certain amount, I'm not sure, you will get an invitation to the donor reception on Thursday evening. And I'm going to be there because, I want to talk with the donors and see what's on their mind, meet with them and hear their concerns and such like that, because I also want to thank them for their support of the league. Okay. Because they help us do a lot of things we ordinarily would not be able to. Friday night, I'm going to Flex Radio banquet, the dinner. Go hang out with my Flex Radio peeps. Okay. I really, the Flex Radio community, I have a lot of friends there, and even, some of the key people in Flex, like Gerald and Steve Hicks and Lori and all those people there are really good friends of mine. I really, enjoyed when I was, doing a lot more evangelization for them. I can't really do that now because of, what I do for the league, but I still talk up Flex when I can. I talk up everybody. Okay. I talk all on ham radio. I was talking with Ray Novak the other day about ICOM, and some of the good radios they have too. So, I like all of ham radio. Right. Let's see. Yeah. The 35s for 10 years. So anyway, right. So Hamvention is going on. And then Saturday night, I'm doing contest dinner. I have a reservation for contest dinner already. That's going to be nice. Unfortunately, I did a poll on Twitter, and apparently a lot of people are not going because they're still, a little anxious about COVID. I get it. Okay. One of my friends tested positive recently, and he said he has a little sniffle and such like that. But it is what it is. I personally, I got sick the other day. I tested negative, so apparently it was a flu, but boy, this was one heck of a flu. This thing caused me to basically get a fever of 102, right? And I literally felt like I was on fire, okay? I was burning up so bad. And then, the next day I woke up with a headache, and, kind of like, and then, when the next day I decided, let me test. And I tested, and it was negative. I did the home test and I did a PCR, and it was negative. But people are, they don't want to contract COVID. I think what we will see is it'll probably be like Orlando, where the attendance is there. It's just not as high as it used to be. So, we'll see how that goes, right? If you are there, I will definitely want to say hi to you. I might have some few things. So we'll see you there. WTWW Shortwave. I'm doing a radio show on WTWW Shortwave 5085 on Saturdays. It's from 4 p.m. Central, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, till 6 p.m. Really excited. It's a pre-recorded show, but this week I'm actually going to be featuring, I'm going to be talking about the show itself. I'm going to feature a good interview from Mars, okay? From Ron Tomo, KE2UK, from Mars. Not the planet Mars, okay? That's Elon Musk. He's from Mars, right? I'm talking about, yeah, he is. I'm talking about, the military affiliate radio service, okay? So, yeah, your kids are both positive, and yeah, I feel worse than my kids. My kids are a ball of energy, Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that. Okay. In other news, we had some really gnarly, really amazing solar activity. Okay. And Dr. Scove has been talking about it. She's been on her YouTube channel. She's been talking about it. And I think she was talking about it on Ham Nation as well, too. That was really, really pretty good, I think. Yesterday, the bands were just alive. I was hearing everything. I worked Thailand on 12 meters. I worked Indonesia. I was working Indonesia by the barrel. Okay. So, you know, Indonesia ham after Indonesia. That's crazy. I didn't believe there were so many hams in Indonesia. So I worked a good few of them. And 10 meters was hopping too, right? 6 meters, not so much, but you know, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, but today I think we had some, and they say that the predictions for cycle 25 are going to be better than cycle 24. It's actually going to be better than the predictions for cycle 25. Okay, all right. Let's see here. What else? If you guys were on YouTube today watching the contact, you know, I was helping out with a contact with ARIS for a local school here the other day, Sussex County Charter School. By the way, we're doing great things with them. We're getting a radio, an ICOM 7300 for them, and I have an ARRL NFED kit antenna that we're going to put up. We're going to have the kids solder that up and put that up. I'm going to do a video on that. I'm going to do a video of them playing with the ICOM 7300, you know, and yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, and we're going to have regular contacts. They have club meetings, radio club meetings on Thursday afternoons. So what I might do is I might post it out on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'm at Ria Jaram on Twitter, and you can see my you can see when I go on air with these kids, and I have the kids talking to the mic, and we have a student from one of the I believe it's a technical high school. His name is Ethan. I forgot his call sign, but he comes and he does radio stuff too, and he you know, he works with the kids and such like that too. And then we have Vince, KD2TMJ, good friend Vince. Yeah, my name's Vince. You know, yeah, Vince, real Jersey Italian guy, really cool. He's nice. He's very dedicated, and he's done a lot of heavy lifting for that school. I really appreciate all he did because he's really making a difference. So yeah, look for us on Thursday evenings, right? But anyway, the school in Ohio actually made a contact today, and it was pretty interesting. I think they had radios on site because I saw them actually keying into a microphone. It looked like an ICOM or maybe a Kenwood radio that they were using. You know, that was pretty interesting. All right, so what else is on tap here? Yes, Jojo, that's my cat. We had a World Amateur Radio Day on the 18th, right? My friends from Oscar, India, okay, they made a video, and I was in one of the videos. And by the way, Aishi, the girl who is in those videos, don't tell anybody yet, but she passed her license exam in India. Okay, that's amazing, and she's going to get a call sign. So she's just waiting for the government to assign a call sign to her, and then, you know, she will be on the air hopefully. I'm really happy, you know, because, you know, I have a connection to India, being part of the Indian diaspora, and you know, I'm really happy to see kids taking up the hobby. She has such enthusiasm and such like that, you know, so she's really going to do well. Who knows? She might be, you know, future engineer or something like that. Who knows? Right. You know, do we have a few other things? ARRL has kind of been slow on the news stories. Apparently, they have a new news editor they've been training. And, you know, John Ross, KD8IDJ. Let me share this news story. So, screen share here. Let's see here, Chrome tab. Yeah. So if you look on the ARRL website, right, John Ross, KD8IDJ, right? So Rick Lindquist, he resigned a while back. He retired, I think. And he's going to be John Ross, new news editor. He's going to be producing news on the website, on the AWR letter, the happenings and amateur radio world columns in QST, and he's going to be doing AWR audio news. So he's also he served as a public information coordinator for AWRL Ohio section, and he's a journalist, broadcast engineer, and holds that extra class license. Right, so he was He started broadcasting while he was in high school. WCB in Columbus, Ohio. He worked on air as on-air talent, and it's good. So, he's also a veteran in the Army and Army Reserve, and he received President's Volunteer Service, and he used to work for AT&T. Cool stuff. I think definitely we would love to hear from him. So I'm looking forward to his work. All right. Let's see here now. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more news. Amateur radio helps rescue injured California outdoorsman. Okay. Hawaii is testing, Aries drill is testing communications. Interesting. And there are jobs at AWRL if you want to work there. So that's always welcome. All right. So let's talk about our topics tonight. First of all is the FCC fees. And I'll tell you about the fees. The fee is $35 now. It's an application fee. It is only for new licenses, renewals, vanity call sign changes, and reassigning sequential call signs. And if you are also requesting a rules waiver. I don't know what kind of rules waiver amateur radio operators will get, but individual rules waivers, right? I know there have been some blanket ones. Individual rule waivers, I don't know. But that's the thing. The things that are fee-free are address changes, name changes, telephone number changes, email address changes, because the FCC requires an email address now. And also upgrades. So if you're upgrading from technician to general or to extra, there is no fee, which is good. And hi, Mike. Mike, unfortunately, I gotta tell you, Kat's not here tonight. Kat, you know something? Kat mentioned something about Tahiti, and then the last thing I heard from her was "Let's go, Brandon." So I assume she eloped with some guy named Brandon to Tahiti. Okay. Anyway, all right. Okay. Yeah, and the fees are people are kind of mixed reaction. If you're getting a GMRS license, right, you could do like the Smoking Ape and and pass the GMRS test. I think he had a hard time with it, but who knows? So you could go on. Midland Radio was offering a $35 discount on their radios. Then you have Redivis has kind of been also having some good radios too. I have a radio review I need to post up from them, and I have one to post up from TID Radio as well too. You're here for the weed, Mike. Mike, come on. You gotta share, okay? Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, GMRS users are rejoicing now. All right, let's talk about weed, okay? Legalize it, because they did legalize it, although not federally, right? So New Jersey is the is the latest state to make not only medical cannabis, because they don't want to call it marijuana, they call it cannabis, right? They're the first one to make medical cannabis legal. Look at this winner here, okay? He is the poster child of New Jersey legal cannabis. Man, his underwear is showing and everything. Okay? He's been waiting 20 years for this. Oh my God. Wow. Well, the governor ran on that, okay? Only in New Jersey. I'm telling you. Comedian impersonates New Jersey cop, smokes weed while directing traffic. Oh God, this. I'm sorry. You know, this is a Florida man story. Okay, I'm surprised this is in New Jersey. I guess Ron DeSantis is not making it legal. But oh my God, that's crazy. They said how the cops could smoke weed after while they're off duty. I don't know how that's gonna work because they yeah, I don't know how they're gonna be able to possess firearms if they're habitual users of Schedule 1 controlled substances. All right, so let's talk about the ham radio part, okay? In New Jersey, there is a place I used to go by in Lincoln Park called Grow Right Garden Center. And they grow a lot of, they actually grow a lot of fruits and vegetables, and they had a full garden center with flowers and everything. And they closed, okay? They kind of just closed because they went into the cannabis business, right? And the cannabis business has actually been pretty good to them. They founded a company called Hillview Med, and Hillview Med is in the business of growing cannabis. So they said Grow Right Garden Center is close to the public. And then they, because obviously they don't want people in there among like all of the cannabis plants and, all that stuff. With this comes a whole new challenge to ham radio operators, right? So you have the issue of grow lights, okay? And Mike was saying, Mike was saying how, well, he's here for the weed, sure. But I'm here to talk about the grow lights, okay? Let's put this in context, right? So let me roll back a little bit and tell you exactly why they need grow lights. Cannabis is a very fussy plant, okay? Now, I grew up in Trinidad, and we had a Rasta man growing weed, okay? It wasn't, it's not like this professional horticulture where they baby the weed plants. No, the Rasta man, he'd dig up in the back of his, his shed, his shack, right? Literally a shack, okay? He plant the seeds, right? And he water that and he grow that out in the open. You can do that in Trinidad because it's hot, it's humid, and you have a lot of sunshine, right? And, he kind of, they fast forward to New Jersey where you have a lot of these companies now doing indoor marijuana cultivation. And it's actually kind of a problem too, because you have the issue of carbon emissions and, you're using grow lights, right, that consume a lot of power. A lot of them don't want LEDs. They want basically halogen grow lights, I believe, because they say the LED gives a poor quality. I don't know how true that is. I'm being lit by LED light. But what you find is that the indoor horticultural arrangement, indoor agriculture, hydroponics, whatever, they're actually have to control the temperature, the airflow, the humidity, everything. With that, especially the grow lights are problematic. So a few years ago, this Colorado ham, he tracked down and resolved interference with pot cultivators' grow lights, okay? So the ARRL actually complained to the FCC that grow light ballasts from your favorite country in the world, China, right? We're generating, Jojo, don't pull my wire from my camera. Okay, we're generating severe interference on the HF bands. So Tom Thompson, W0IVJ, he knows the interference on 40 meters in Boulder, right? So he put a receiving loop, and we're going to show you this receiving loop in a second, with a direct conversion receiver, and he walked around his neighborhood and and he found, you know, a grow house, right? And then, you know, of course, at that time, I believe Colorado was just getting legalized, right? And they use so they don't use halogen; they use high pressure sodium. So you know, high pressure sodium is like the street lights, you know, the sodium vapor lamps you have outside your you know, on the street, and those things are bright, but if they malfunction or if the ballast, you know, you have a long wire between the ballast and the light, it's going to wreak havoc, right? 600 to 1,000 watts, right? And 50 to 70 kilohertz switching frequency. And you have the ballast in one corner, and then you have the light with 30 feet of wire. Hello, antenna, you know? And yeah, a quarter wave on 40 meters. Can you believe it, right? That really, you know, to use a pun, really stank up the, began to stink up the HF spectrum. So, you know, he basically here is about a half mile away. So when the plants are young, the lights have to be on all the time, okay? And then they reduce the time as they get you know, older, and it's basically 12 hours on, 12 hours off, you know, like a tropical place, right? And then so that kind of makes it a little predictable. One of the growers, I guess this was after Colorado legalized it. I was just in Denver the other day, by the way. You know, the place didn't smell like pot, but I was at a hotel. The growers loaned him a lamp ballast, and he got a used lamp for free from one of the local grow shops. And, you know, he did a common mode choke. So I'm not sure what the laws are in Colorado and Washington if you can grow your own. I think in New Jersey they really botched it in New Jersey. Okay, they made it. You know, they had to get licenses for these dispensaries. I'm telling you, it's worse than buying a gun here. Oh, you don't know what we have to do to buy a gun here. Okay, we have to apply for a stupid purchase permit per gun, right? And this is not even a carry permit. It's a purchase permit used to buy the gun. Okay, and you can only buy one a month, right? One gun a month, and you only allow 10 rounds. You know, so yeah, it's really dumb. But New Jersey probably isn't the worst. I think the worst is California. You want to know some? New York actually is 7 rounds in the magazine. 7 rounds. Could you believe that? Yeah. I don't think I have any guns with 7. No, I do have one. The Springfield XDS with a 7-round magazine. That's a carry gun. You know, it's like in the other ones I have are 10 rounds. Like I have a 1911. I have a couple 1911s and such. But yeah, so so that time Sean Kutzko was working at the ARRL, believe it or not. You know Sean, right? He does all these satellite activation and such. You know, he was media and public relations manager. Big job. So yeah, so they had common mode chokes. I believe it was just basically ferrites that he was using. So this is his loop. Okay, I'll show you his loop here. Yeah, 30 round. You want to know something? The crime rate here where I live is really not all that bad. A lot of people don't lock their doors. I have electronic locks on my doors and I have security cameras, but you know, so I monitor the heck out of the place. But well, I think now it's come to the point where people lock their doors. But when we initially moved here in 15 years ago, there were, you know, the realtor told us to say, no, people don't lock their doors here. You know, the crime rate is very low here. In some parts of New Jersey, like Newark, especially Newark is terrible. Don't walk in Newark after dark, right? Camden, Although Camden's getting a new lease on life because it has a new police force, shocker, that's actually enforcing crime. You know, yeah, the Second Amendment doesn't exist in New Jersey. Okay, I don't think the First Amendment even exists here, but the Second Amendment definitely does not exist here. Maybe New Jersey will get his pee smacked when the New York when the Supreme Court rules in favor of New York. Right. Okay. So the receiving loop. Let me show you their receiving loop that John used here, and receiving loop. Okay. Yeah, you know, he built one. So it's basically just like a mag loop, right? It's like this, you know, and he put a capacitor on it and he received. That's so cool. And what did he have here? High res. Yeah, you know. So he had the transformer, a balun, and a variable capacitor and some capacitor, fixed capacitor down there. That I think could work really well. And then he built a receiver here too. Okay. I want to see the picture of this receiver. So he has the noise receiver here. Huh. Interesting. So a couple of LT1014 integrated circuits. You have the coil, and he put a meter on them there, right? And yeah, so it's a double conversion, is it? Yeah. Tuning range. I think I want to build this actually. I think this will be a good project to build. Right. And let's see what he has here. Yeah, them's goods. And he used that to track down grow lights. So that could be pretty interesting. All right. Yeah. Listen. You think I'm joking? That's no accident, okay? That is no accident, right? Yes, the uniforms are literally out of, you know, they're literally out of Germany back then, you know? Yeah, I think that's on purpose. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. So Newark, you know, Newark, they're good people in Newark, but for most part, you know, the city is a crime-ridden mess now. I wouldn't. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, New Jersey is the worst state for guns. Okay. All right. So steps to mitigate here now, right? Let's see here. There is a whole page on. So the nice thing about the Technical Information Service is that whenever there's a specific issue, specifically things like solar panels and you know, interference from these grow lights, the ARRL puts a nice, easy URL for you to actually go and learn about this stuff, right? And you can see here the large high power grow lights in residential areas are on a rise, right? They're typically over 1,000 watts. These lights are proven to be a notorious source of RFI. And the lab did some testing. These devices can exceed FCC limits by a considerable margin. So one light was measured to be in excess of 30 dB. Yikes. You want to know something? Every 3 dB is twice the power, right? So imagine that 10 times, okay? Yeah. And, you know, they're part 15 and part 18. But they basically said that, you know, at that time when this was written, you know, I guess most cannabis was illegal and they didn't really want to, you know, people to go and then go and, you know, go and knock on the door of a grow house and then have somebody come out with a gun and shoot them, right? But, you know, now that it's legal, actually, there's a better chance of getting cooperation because these are corporations. And I think that they probably wouldn't want you to go to the FCC because it might get uncomfortable although the administration is not really enforcing federal marijuana laws. So, the whole war on drugs is kind of like, subsiding right now, really, yeah. So let's see here. Right. So the FCC has sole jurisdiction on RFI. My town has an ordinance relating to signs that say that how if it causes RFI, it's not allowed. They can't do that. Okay. So grow lights produce a distinctive noise signature, right? And let's see here. The FCC converted from Microsoft receipts. So the FCC received, this is an FCC complaint caused by a grow light ballast, and the that some devices are imported do not comply. So they're unintentional radiators. Let's see here. The commission has a responsibility to require that such problems be rectified at reasonable time. If the interference is caused by faulty consumer equipment under FCC rules, such equipment is classified as an intentional radiator. These devices intentionally generate radio frequency energy but do not intentionally radiate the energy as part of their normal intended operation. Under the rules, such devices must not cause harmful interference. If and when interference does occur, the burden falls on the device operator to correct it. If necessary, cease operation. Okay, some types of common consumer devices may also operate under Part 18. That's interesting. In either case, however, the rules with regard to interference are the same, right? So, yeah, harmful interference violation. Please be advised, continued operation is not legal, and the interference must be corrected. You have 30 days to Mr. Name when held amateur station. Yikes. Okay, that's from Laura Smith, believe it or not, right? The Laura Smith. Yeah. So how do you know it's a grow light, right? Grow lights tend to exhibit several unique identifiable characteristics. So far, they produce a broadband noise across 40-meter band. So if you have a lot of noise on 40, like a hum, right, or a hash, you'll hear it over mostly on 40 meters. 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and then you have turn on. If you establish the turn on time, listen for the noise, and it's a little noisier with less of a flat spectrum. It lasts about 5 minutes until the lamp is warm. The polarization is predominantly vertical, even though lamp line might be horizontal. In case of cannabis, the grow time is typically 6 to 8 weeks. At this time, the lights may be shut off for a few days while the plants are harvested and new ones made ready. Right? We typically recommend that a ham discuss any RFI problem with his neighbor as a good first steps. Obviously, even under the best of circumstances, the importance of diplomacy cannot be overemphasized during these discussions. It's also important never to suggest what you think the cause might be. Wrong, it often makes matters worse, regardless of what you suspect the source might be. Simply let the neighbor know that a source of radio appears to be in their home. It can also be helpful to demonstrate the problem with a portable radio, especially one that looks like an AM broadcast receiver. Like one of these little shortwave radios, okay? Be sure not to turn up the radio so loud that it becomes offensive. Okay. Obviously, depending on circumstances, approaching your neighbor in a case involving a grow light can be potentially dangerous. Exercise extreme caution and good judgment. For example, you may not want to directly approach a neighbor if you suspect a grow light is the source of your RFI problem. Every case is obviously different, and no two neighbors are exactly alike. There's simply no substitute for good judgment in any situation like this. Right, so they have the emission limits right here in Part 15 and Part 18. They must meet these requirements. And then the second one is a general guideline that the equipment must be operated in a way that does not cause harmful interference. And if the interference occurs, the rules place the burden on the operator. Okay, so case of a grow light, the FCC rules prohibit harmful interference. Okay, let's see here. So technical solutions, you add filters and chokes. The usual stuff, you know. Typically requires that filters be added to both the AC and the lamp side of the ballast. So the ballast actually has, you know, it plugs into the wall, right? And then they have the output. The grow light ballast RFI filter page, which I just showed you actually, right? And which cure your attempt, choose a filter or other components that are properly rated. Although common mode chokes are another popular and effective solution, the size grow light cables may make them impractical because these things pull a lot of current, right? Split ferrites, beads, and clamp-on cores are not as effective as toroids. Toroids are donut-shaped, and you'll need to pass the cable through the center of the hole multiple times. Typically, the largest toroid that is readily available is 2.4 inches in diameter. And so, yeah. Audio Systems Group, K9YC has a lot of, well, he used to have a lot of stuff. He has a lot of, you know, things about EMC and such like that. You know, RFI ferrites, common mode chokes for hams, right? Jim Brown, he's a frequent participant in the CQ contest reflector. And he also, you know, he talks about toroids and such like that. So this is a good page to go to for RFI. Audiosystemsgroup.com. Okay, that's Jim K9YC. So that's a good solution. Let's see here. Your wife is a walking RFI, so I have headphones. Well, you want to know something? I have all LEDs in this house, and it really hasn't been a problem. One of my my biggest sources of RFI right now is solar. Okay, because I have some solar here, and I'm actually going to be expanding the solar. But I managed to tamp it down significantly to the point where it's not really a big problem anymore on HF. So I've basically been putting ferrites, and I've been putting you know, I've been twisting the MC4 cables, you know. So let's see here. Don's locks. Howdy y'all. Okay. And yeah, like I said, this is true. So anyway, all right. Right. So other than that, I think you know, I think this hysteria over legal, you know, cannabis here in New Jersey is going to die down sometime. I don't think it's really going to be a big deal as some people. So a lot of towns here have actually stopped. You know, they basically banned sales before it came on, but they're going to actually change their minds later on. I mean, who really knows? You know, I'm just hoping that a lot of people don't drive high, because when they do drive high, it'll probably be similar to driving under the influence of alcohol. And as you know, that's not good. Don't drink and drive. You know, you can buy Kat a blue drink because she told me to tell you guys to buy a blue drink, but don't drive when you drink a blue drink, okay? Yeah, I'm buying some big toroids, okay? And I made some of the filters with the MC4 cables. It's been really interesting. But I'm going to be populating the barn roof with solar panels, because I want to be able to not only run the house fully, but I want to be able to charge my car, right? And charging my car is going to require, I think, in the realm of like 10 to 12 kilowatts. The actual house load, believe it or not, is very, very low. This house, under full load, except air conditioning. So under a typical day of load, right, this house will pull about between 900 to about 1300 watts, okay? And on typical, like right now, I could show you actually, yeah, okay. Where's my electrical load? Okay. Yeah. So right now the load is 1.1 kilowatts, and what devices are on? I have the drinking water cooler. I have another device that's burning a kilowatt. Okay, whatever. Yeah, my camera died. Well, yeah, I didn't charge it, unfortunately. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I think next week we'll figure out a topic. Don't forget to join me on Live with Rhea on Sunday night, 9:30, right? And also the WTWW Shortwave Show 5085 Shortwave. They also have, you can also listen live on WTWW.us where they stream, and you can see it. So I'm going to say good night for now. Peace and 73s.